Hello everyone, my name is Joe Archino, and welcome back to This Is Why We Stand. I had the honor of interviewing two very special young Revolutionary War reenactors, Ian Bell and Brian Dennis, at the launch of Revolutionary Westchester 250 at the J Heritage Center in Rye, New York, which I had the pleasure of covering for Westchester Talk Radio. I hope you enjoy our conversation as much as I did. Our first two guests today, you guys look absolutely fantastic. We have Ian Bell and Brian Dennis. They are both reenactors with the Hearts of Oak Militia. Guys, really glad to start off the show with you two. As soon as you guys came in, you guys were very easy to see, and I had to get you on here. Thanks for being a part of the show today.
Of course. Thank you for having us.
Of course. Yeah, now, you guys, we talked a little bit before this. So you guys are pros. You guys have been interviewed before. So you're kind of stars, and you're continuing the media tour. Tell us a little bit about yourselves. Obviously, you're big history buffs from just the conversations I was just hearing. Tell us a little bit about yourselves and why the Revolution really means so much to you guys.
Okay, so it all kind of started when Hamilton came out. That's when it really bounced off. I used to love like dressing up in this kind of clothes, like those cheap stores on the internet. And then I went to go see Hamilton, and it was like, oh, I want to do that. And then like I originally wanted to fire guns in that period, but then I couldn't because I'm really young. But
you got a sword though,
I do have
so that's
a sword.
A nice thing to start off with, right?
I do. Yeah, it is I love this sword. It is a nice sword. Yeah, but like I've been doing this for about 2.5 years now,
cool.
And I've always loved it. So.
All right, and then Brian, what about you?
What got me interested in the Revolutionary War was in 5th grade when we learned about American history, and I remember learning about that, and I'm like, whoa, this is interesting. I want to do that. So then I went to my first reenactment at Boston Tea Party, and I was like, well, I want to do that one day. And then I went to Old Sturbridge Village, which is in Massachusetts, and then I saw one of the guys. I was asking him questions about how to join, and then this is how I got interested in this, because of him, now I'm here.
It's really cool, and it's so important, I think, for young people to know their history, and you guys obviously do. I mean, you could just see how much care there are in these uniforms. Tell us a little about the work that goes into this. Do you guys work on these? Do you make them? Is there a company? How do you guys get these great uniforms?
Okay, so these are some stuff that we've actually created ourselves. We have a teacher. His name is Eric. He's been doing this for like, I think, 20 years. That's going off of intuition. But the breeches were made off of him. He's very good at sewing, like surprisingly good. This jacket was made out of another guy in New York that is very good at sewing as well. He just started Revolutionary War. I don't think he's with us today, but there is also this waistcoat was made by me, and I have some shoes, and these were made by, I don't know who these were made by actually. They're like breeches. But cool. They're really cool. They keep you warm. The only thing I hate is that gloves, they're kind of hard to find. It's,
okay, to match the period?
To match the period, yeah. So, like, there are places to find gloves, but you need fingerless gloves to have, like, that, so you can play the instruments that we do. And so, yeah, that's kind of...
Brian, what about you? How about...
My uniform, I didn't make any of it. I'm making the backpack right now. But I bought everything.
Cool.
I bought everything off people who did make it.
Well, you're dressed in the Heart of Oak. You're both part of the Heart of Oak militia, but you've got the Heart of Oak actual militia uniform on right now.
This is what Hamilton wore.
Cool. Is Hamilton your favorite Revolutionary War figure?
No.
Who is your favorite?
King George III.
Okay, that is an interesting answer. King George III. Why is King George III your favorite revolutionary character?
Because I like the British better.
Interesting. You like the British better? Wow.
Yeah,
why do you like the British better?
Because they look better on the field. Like they all synchronized.
I don't think people could dispute that. You think because the organization and the expert level of their military, that's what does it for you?
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this then. Who's your favorite British general from the war?
General Howe.
General Howe. A lot of people like to critique General Howe, but I think sometimes it's a little bit unfair. What about you? Who's your favorite revolutionary figure, Ian?
So 4th grade, I started doing a project about, we had to pick a character out of the hat from the American Revolution, which is kind of where it actually started, but I picked out Benedict Arnold, and since then, I've actually really enjoyed, learning about him and how his struggles in the war and how he had to turn from the American side to the British side because no one would have given him credit for anything of his amazing skills in the battlefield.
Well, absolutely. You guys really do know your stuff, and I think a lot of people out there don't understand that Benedict Arnold really was one of the best American commanders in the war. America probably wouldn't have won the war if it wasn't for Benedict Arnold, what he did at the battles of Saratoga. And
the French
absolutely,
came from that.
He was a tremendously talented commander.
Like at the Battle of Saratoga, he was shot in his leg,
yes.
and if he died there, he was going to be the greatest hero in American history.
Absolutely.
But since he didn't, he's now known as the greatest traitor in American history.
It's true. A lot of people have written books about him, obviously, and he's kind of walks that line where American hero / traitor, because he was very, very brave. He was very talented. Have you guys been to many Revolutionary War battlefields?
Yeah.
Have you been to Saratoga? Have you seen the Saratoga Monument? Because if you know about Benedict Arnold, the Saratoga Monument is very cool. The 4 people who were very responsible for the victory at Saratoga, obviously you have Horatio Gates, you have Daniel Morgan, Benedict Arnold, and of course Philip Schuyler. There's 4 statues for them in this thing called the Saratoga Monument, but Benedict Arnold's is empty, and the emptiness is meant to suggest his place. He should have been there, but because of his later betrayal, he wasn't there. Sounds like something you guys would really enjoy checking out, but tell us about some of the Revolutionary battlefields you've been to.
I was supposed to do it last year, but I didn't have the time to do it. I think I was in New Jersey or something, doing something else. But what happened was actually Horatio Gates, I'm pretty sure, wanted to retreat, but Benedict Arnold completely refused, so he rode on his horse down to the field and won the battle.
And you mentioned Benedict Arnold getting wounded. There's called the Benedict Arnold, it's kind of the boot monument. They have a monument just to his boot. And there, it's a kind of an engraving at the spot where he was wounded at the Battle of Saratoga. So very cool spot. But what were you going to say? You've been to many battlefields too?
Yeah, I live in Connecticut, and there's a lot of stuff in Connecticut.
Absolutely.
Around that area also.
He also died of gout, I think, after being shot in the leg twice. I don't know if that's actually why he died of gout, but it's might have played a factor in being shot in the leg twice. Being shot in the leg twice back then was very lethal because the bullets were little circles that when they were lodged in your leg, you'd have to almost open up your leg and the wound, which would really, really hurt just to get that bullet out. And then you'd have to sew it back up. And at that point, you've already lost at least a gallon of blood.
Like George Washington, he died of suffocation because he had a strep throat, and they were doing the bloodletting thing. And he lost 52 or something like that gallons of blood, and then since that, he died.
See, I could sit here and talk Revolutionary with you guys all day. It's amazing to see the passion you guys have. And you guys, you're both 12, so you're only going to learn more and more as you get older. And you think about how much you know now and how much you're going to know. Tell us a little about this event, though, today. What have you guys done so far? Have you guys been out there marching? Have you guys been doing any demonstrations yet?
We did one performance out there, and I'm pretty sure there's more after that.
Okay, so we have done one performance so far. If you're here, you might notice that it is very cold outside. So
yes,
we had to stop by accident because mostly we did all the songs that we were supposed to, but our hands got really, really cold, and it's really hard to play the fife, which is the instrument I play. He plays drums, but it's really hard to play those when your fingers are literally freezing up.
Oh, I'm sure.
So it's really hard.
And I was playing the drums with my gloves on, but it's so much easier with fingerless gloves. So I had to take them off, and then my hands were freezing.
Yeah.
So it was I could either play with my freezing hands, or don't play with my warm hands.
It's tough, and you guys talk about the instrument thing. So on top of the uniform and all the other care and the studying you guys do, the instrument, obviously, you guys have to put a lot of practice into that as well, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
What about you?
Okay, so I don't know about you as much because you're new.
Yeah.
But I do a lesson at least once a week unless my teacher has to cancel, which he sometimes does, or I have to cancel on my part because of school and stuff like that. But I do read up a lot about history if we don't, so I can learn more about that. And during reenactments itself, if kids or other adults have questions, I'd actually be a help to them so I can tell them. Because my first reenactment, I remember not being able to tell them anything. Some guy asked, "So what is this group about?" And I was like, Eric? So yeah, I was...
Well, you definitely know your stuff now. Tell me, for anybody your age who wants to get interested in the Revolution, what would you tell them about why it's so interesting? And is there a book maybe you would point them towards to kind of get started with?
So I have, the recommendation is if you live in the United States, even Europe, if you want to start that kind of reenactment business, if you are of legal age, I recommend, there's a gun law going that just passed, 40 years ago, about how you can own any gun from 1893 and below.
Okay.
So if you want a Revolutionary War musket, you just have to get one, but they're quite expensive. But if you want it to be like an instrument, which is what me and him do, you just have to find a group in your area and then just ask if you can get lessons and then practice. And then if you keep on practicing, eventually you can get good enough to do these kind of reenactments, and you can have a blast, and it's really fun to dress up in this clothes. It does take a while to get in the clothes, but they're really comfortable sometimes in the right situations, like in summer when you're wearing all that wool, and it feels really good just to take your jacket off, and it's a lot of fun to do them every time we do them. So like.
What about you, Brian?
The clothes, they could be really comfortable, but what it matters how the clothes are made. Because I remember before I got these pants, I wore pants, and they were really uncomfortable, and they were scratching my leg, whenever I walked, and that really annoyed me. Then I got these. Now I can walk and everything, and they're really comfortable.
You're a pro now, right?
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, you guys are just amazing. I really enjoyed talking with you guys today. You look fantastic. You guys are going to be out there again later?
Yes, we are.
Cool. Well, hopefully we'll be able to catch you guys, but thank you for coming on. It's always amazing to talk to young guys who really know their stuff, and I haven't met too many who know as much about the Revolution as you guys have, and I really appreciate it. I hope you guys continue doing this because it's a great thing to do, and you guys are helping make history come back alive. So, Ian, Brian, thank you guys for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for listening to this interview. For thisiswhywestand.net, I'm Joe Archino.